Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my lab setup of Alma Linux version 9 on a dedicated hosted server in Contabo. Today I'll show you how to set up a bridge mode in this server hosted on the um, Contabo, right? As most of the KVM or the Linux, virtualization, the default network mode is net mode, right? And if you have, well, like we've done a setup like me, having a few more additional public IP addresses assigned to you, right? You might want to create a bridge mode to allow the virtualization environment to fully utilize the public IP address, like having a firewall directly connected in the environment and assigning it a public IP address for site-to-site VPN, remote access VPN without using the NF tables to do port forwarding, right? The bridge mode in this case does help you in ensuring that seamless exposure of the public IP address without more complex setup in the NF tables itself. Okay, there are a lot of benefits to it, right? Especially when you have a lot more public IP address that you can play with, right? And in a lab environment, it helps with HA, load balancing, a lot of the setup that you would like to show or test, right? This is one of the key setup that is useful for you. Now, the setting out the bridge mode in Alma, which is very similar to the Linux distribution, slightly different from Ubuntu. Ubuntu, you can actually do the configuration, test the configuration without impact to your connection, right? But in the Alma Linux, you have to be relatively careful when you're doing this setup because you might accidentally get disconnected to the machine, right? And in a hosted environment, if it does not have keyboard, video, monitor, or inbuilt IO card access, you might cause a problem. Like me, I've reinstalled Linux a few times, right? When I forgot about a few of the steps here, right? So do be mindful, especially if you are setting this up in a hosted environment that you can only SSH to. Okay, now let's hop over to my Linux machine, the Amazon machine on the internet, as you can see. So the first thing you want to check is basically using the network manager command to look at what are the devices that are connected and that is up and running. So NL MMCLI device status gives you that. You can actually do this in the desktop GUI if you have installed whether Genome or any of the desktop UI that I have done, like what I've done in the previous theater video, right? So the NMLCI device status gives you, and you can see that Ethernet 0 is now is connected, the loopback connected is connected, right? Of course, the virtual bridge is the default bridge that was created by installing KVM. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this is the main network interface that we're gonna basically configure the bridge mode. You can actually use the command line to go edit the configuration as well, but in this tutorial we'll use the nmcli command. Okay, so the first step that you want to do is to do this. So sudo if you're not in root, but I just like to use you know the command as if you're not in the root. Do a nmcli connection at interface name, give it a name. So we're going to set up a bridge 0 in this case, and then specify the type, connection name. We're going to give it a bridge 0 name, right? Oops, sorry, did I uh, enter the wrong command? Okay, I have forgotten. Okay, syntax error. You need to specify the type, which is bridge, and then enter. Right, so you'll see that the bridge connection is successfully added. Next, we'll need to have a bridge slave. Right, so we'll do this. Sorry, sudo nmcli, add another connection, uh, add, and then type, right? Bridge slave, interface name. So we're going to change ether0 to a bridge slave, and then master to bridge 0. So we'll set all the configuration in bridge 0 and use ether0 as the physical internet that we are going to use. So you can see a bridge slave is created called ether0. Okay, now like I mentioned earlier, you can always do the uh, configuration in the config file itself in Network Manager. For Network Manager, in Alma Linux, the configuration is stored in so we can do a ls-l to see what are the configuration created in Network Manager system connection, right? So all the configuration file is stored here. So I did not show you the initial configuration, but when you do this before you create the bridge, you should only see ether0 and ether1 if you have two physical internet connection, right? So this ether0 and ether1s are the default configuration file when I install Alma, and bridge0 network um, NM connection is what is the bridge that we have created, and bridge slave is the bridge slave relationship configuration that is done as well, right? So this those are the couple of key commands, right, and configuration to configure the bridge mode. Now the challenge here is that you will need to bring down the bridge uh, interface and ether0 interface, and then bring up the bridge 0 interface for the bridge 0 to come online, right? And then at the same time, for bridge ether0 to become a bridge slave physical connection. Now, if you do that using the command right now, right, it will cause, when you bring down the ether0 interface, you will lose connection before even you can bring up bridge 0. And this is where it causes the whole machine to be unreachable, right? So the workaround on this, of course, is we can create a script, right? So that when we run this command using the script, it will uh, continue to run the script even though our SSH connection is um, disconnected, right? So let's do VI. So VI is the default config text editor that comes with Alma. It doesn't have nano If you want, you can install Nano. Uh, if you're depending on which text editor you're familiar with. So we're gonna create a script file called bridge.sh. Okay, in this script, we're gonna basically specify this is a, oops, okay, exclamation mark. Okay, this is a bin bash script. Okay, so the commands are very simple. We use network CLI to do a configuration down, ether 0, and then right after that, we will bring up configuration connection bridge 0. Okay, when we do this, we'll bring down ether 0, bring up bridge 0, and at the same time, because ether 0 is a slave, it will be brought up by the bringing up bridge 0. So that's all. That's two simple command that we need to do. Let's write the file. Oops, syntax error. WQ. Okay, and then let's go to temp, change mode for the script file to executable for bridge sh, and then let's execute this command. Okay, so you can see when I do that, there's actually a break. So we've effectively disconnected from ether 0 because it's being brought down, and we will have to wait for bridge 0 to be up, which is running in the background. And then we might need to reconnect to, let's clone the session and see if it's up. Let's do a reconnect. Okay, and you can see, the SSH session was terminated and we have to reconnect to get back up. Now, how do we know if the configuration was successful? Let's go and check out. Uh, so if we look at MMs and MCLI device status, now I should have a bridge 0 now set up, right? And then the physical interface is now a slave to MBR 0. Now if I do ifconfig, I can see that now my bridge 0 hosts my IP address, and ether 0 no longer hosts the IP address. Okay, so that's how you configure Alma Linux for a bridge interface. Now that we've done this, we want to create a bridge network for KVM, right? so that we can use this bridge for our network setup. Now, if we do right now a vish command, vish command net list all, I should now see, oops, syntax error again. Okay, we should see only that currently there's only a default active. So we want to create a bridge. So what we do is we need to create an XML, right? So we'll vi/tmp, give it a vir virtual bridge, vir, let's set a virtual bridge name called virtual bridge 99, right? You can give it a name that you want. Okay, and then we're going to put in the following command, right? Or the following configuration, open with a tag network, right? Typical XML format. And then give it a name, to file. We don't need to have so much gaps. Okay, name. Okay, we'll call it VIR virtual bridge 99. Close the tag. And then forward mode. So this will be a bridge forwarding mode equals to bridge. Okay, close the tag. And then bridge name. So we have set the name of the bridge earlier on to BR0, so that will use bridge 0 as the bridge for us. And then close the tag. Network. Okay, that's very simple. That XML configuration that you need to do. Done. Write to file and quit. Okay, and then we need to define the interface or the bridge, right? So vish net define slash tmp slash virtual bridge 99.xml. Oops. Okay, we define the bridge and then we can start, right? Okay, and then start the interface. Now, if we do the command netlist again, we should see now virtual bridge is started, right? But take note, it's not auto start. So if you want to make it persistent and auto start after, a reboot, you need to do the RSH net. I believe it's auto. Yeah, auto start. right? If you forget the syntax like me, you can do this and then virtual bridge 99, right? And then now if we look at the command again, we can see that virtual bridge is active and it is you can and it's in auto start mode, persistent. So whenever you reboot the Linux or restart the KVM service, it will automatically start up the bridge configuration as well. Okay, that's how simple it is to create a bridge environment. Now, a little bit of tweaking that I always like to do is to change the bash prompt, right? If you noticed in my previous few Linux video, so we're gonna also take this opportunity to change our uh, bash prompt display, right? Right now it replaces root followed by the machine. Okay, now first thing I want to do is to change the host name to something that I can recognize better. So the host name ctl command. Let's set host name. Okay, let's give it a more meaningful name. You can give it any name. Try Alma. So this is my first Alma server. I'm going to do Alma 01, for example. Right? So it doesn't change on the fly because we have it doesn't this command doesn't change the host name in the bash environment. So we can do a execute bash, and you can see that I've now changed the host name. Now, uh, for custom prompt, I have a video that, show you how to do it, a short video that does show you how to do it, but this part, we just change it, right? So most of the, uh, interesting, right? Give me a minute, I should see the bash.rc. Okay, the alias ll doesn't do the ls minus a in this scenario, so minus la list all. Okay, you don't have to have so many a's. It's something, the Mac is not behaving as it used to be when I run too many applications these days. I think Apple is doing a lot of great stuff that is, you know, changing a lot of ways that they manage the system resources and memory, but that's another conversation. Now, you can see bash rc, right? This is a file that we will edit to change the bash prompt. So let's go in and edit that. Bash rc. Okay, so this is a file that you can change the home directory, the path, and then specify the alias. So you can see, there's quite a fair bit of things that you can add and change here, right? In Interestingly, they do not have the prom shell one, right? So not sure whether it's because of my environment. Let's do a view without going to the text editor. Okay, so it seems that it doesn't have the ability, the new bash file doesn't even allow you to specify the prom shell one. Okay, so no worries, right? It's a good exercise for me. I still prefer my Nano, so I'm gonna see whether if I have Nano. Yes, I have. So I've installed Nano, which is easier for me because don't remember VI syntax that well. It's been a while since I used VI. Okay, so what we're gonna do is to now go in and add in a few things, right? So seems that the new Alma or doesn't have the prompt shell one command to change the prompt. So we're gonna add in something here, right? Prompt config. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste from my previous prompt shell so that we don't have to type everything from scratch. Okay, so I'm gonna copy over this configuration that are usually available in other Linux. So okay, let me just make sure that okay, so we're not gonna do the if statement, we're just gonna copy over this statement. Okay, so we're gonna put in a prompt. Uh, okay, this is the um, command we have put in. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to change the prompt to PS. So prompt shell one, you can use PS1, PS2, there are a couple of prompt shell string that you can use. So, /n is new line, /e open square bracket starts the color definition. And then I believe one is bold or normal and zero is bold or normal. So it's one or the other, right? And then followed by a semicolon. 31M is the color we want to use. /u is user. So I'm gonna have a new line, right, with a color, right, for user, and then a color for 32M is a color for add, and then a color for home directory, sorry, host name, and then a color, right, with a new line for the current directory. Okay, you know, the pipe and the dash are just additional strings I want to put in place. And then I want to end the color, so it goes back to the basic system color. Okay, so that's what we do. Write the file, and then we want to activate the bash file, so we can do a source.bash rc, right? So that will apply the configuration, and you can see straight away 31 is red, I believe, and then it is bold, right? So one is bold, and then the at sign I have changed to green for 32, and then dark blue for 34, and then for host name, and then and I change the color to 36, which is a darker green, and then I did end the color scheme. So I should see, um, let me see. If I do a clear now, yes, so you can see the system color is still in place, right? So this is, little tweaks that I do, right, to, for my environment so I can identify the server, make the prompt shell a little bit more interesting and readable. So you can see I have passed in quite a few spaces so that, it's not stuck to the front of the front of the screen. Um, and and then you can have a line. So there are a lot of things you can do with the bash prompt, right? But this is what I usually do for basic setup. So and I really like my password directory because it helps me know where I am without having to type pwd, right? Which is the path of the working directory. So that's how you do what you do to change the PS1 prompt shell. You can actually also do this, PS1 equals to test, right? When you do this, it's temporary, so you get a prompt like this. Uh, can do PS2. Okay, so prompt shell string, prompt shell one. So you can do this, and you can always set a condition, right? Uh, if you are, for example, running a color prompt, you want to display prompt shell one. If you want to if you are in a non-color environment, you want to do a prompt shell one, color environment, do a prompt shell two, for example. This way you can use all the variables um, uh, to set different prompt display. Okay, so you get the idea. So I'm not going to